program is part of the Scene Project's podcast network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are. Well, welcome into a very exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today are Ashley and Elisabeth from FND Warriors and the Unraveling FND podcast. Welcome to the show, girls.
Thank you.
Ladies, I always get in trouble for that when I say girls. I apologize.
All good.
Don't worry about it. That's okay. I'm almost 40. I'll take girl anytime.
Well, that's fair enough. Before we get too far into the episode here, just Ashley, well, I guess we'll start with you. Introduce yourself a little bit, and you can kind of share about FND Warriors, and then we'll get Elisabeth in there to chime in as well.
Sure. So, sorry about that. My name is Ashley. I am with FND Warriors. It's a little on its way to be a nonprofit that I started after an issue that arose or started an issue that happened to me when I was at my place of work, a pretty egregious situation. I was in so basically I was diagnosed with a condition called Functional Neurological Disorder. I was diagnosed with that August 30th of this year. But I suffered from it for nearly a decade prior to it before that. It's an invisible illness. It's an illness that you suffer from for a very long time before you actually get formally diagnosed with. And it's also something that's very hard to get diagnosed because there's very few doctors that specialize in the condition as well. So it's hard to come across a doctor that actually knows anything about FND. This day and age, there's more doctors that know about it, but back in 3, 4, 5 years ago, it was hard to come across a doctor that specialized in it. So to get diagnosed, it was harder. So to get diagnosed, it was hard. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, and that's FND brain.
You were talking about your place of work.
Yeah, so my place of work. So yes, so I got diagnosed August 30th of 2024, and I was working at my place of employment. And when I went back to my place of employment, I had told them that I had gone back on a gradual return to work. And sorry, it's difficult. And I had gone on a gradual return to work, and they had told me that at some point that was not okay. And I was pushing back at them and telling them, sorry, this is my emotional support animal.
Well, he can feel you getting emotional, right? And Ashley, I'll let you catch your breath. You don't have to feel. I didn't realize this was so fresh. When I saw you reaching out on a Facebook group and kind of putting your story out there, I was very intrigued, and I had thought maybe that this had happened, years ago, and you were just coming out and sharing the story, but this is very fresh, so still very emotional and raw as well.
Yeah,
so.
Well, it happened last October, that's
a few months ago.
Exactly, and that's how FND Warriors was created. She felt like she needed to do something about it. She felt like she wasn't getting the proper support in all the groups that we have on the web right now. And I felt the same way, actually. And we met on another FND group. We were having a meeting, and she was very frustrated about her situation, and everybody was like, yeah, like it's not easy, but she was feeling like she couldn't just stay
was
in the
lost
dark.
and
And
dejected and just
exactly.
this
Well,
was
and
after.
especially if you had worked at this place for a long time and it's like you've been dealing with this disease, like you said, for maybe a decade, and you feel like you're the same person that you were before someone put this label on you. And now because this label is on you, they're like, yeah, you can't work here anymore. Well, I
well
should have just kept my
basically
mouth shut.
Well, basically what happened was is I had gone back and I was on a gradual return to work, and on October 18th there was a fire alarm, and I had gone back to work in August in a four-wheeled walker. So I'm a 39-year-old patient in a four-wheeled walker. And I bought a walker and it said a max walk for seniors. I'm 39 years old and I'm buying a walker that says it's for seniors. That hits really at home at 39 years old. And so I'm going back into the office in a walker, and I can't get out of the building on the 18th floor during a fire alarm. And they tell me to go into a corner office, and they pull out a bag of gas masks, and I'm supposed to put a gas mask on, and that's supposed to protect me from a fire. And I raised a health and safety complaint. That was a Friday, and on the Monday I come into the office and I'm terminated from my position without cause.
This is where?
I'm not
Well,
at
no. But I
liberty.
mean, where do you live? In what
I'm
country?
in Ontario, in Canada.
And do you have workplace rights? Like I know in the United
Yeah.
States, like we have,
Oh
ADA
Yeah.
yeah,
rights.
there is a
Okay.
lawsuit
Hence,
right
hence why you
now.
can't talk about
Yeah.
specifics on things, but
Yeah.
okay, thanks. So thankfully that's going. But now in the meantime, right, like you're kicked out of your workplace. You are, recently diagnosed with this disease, like you said,
I've lost my
39,
benefits.
using a
I've
few,
lost.
right. Right. So what even happens? Well, and see, I
I've
don't know,
held
like
in Canada. I have free health care, but I don't have. There's certain
specialist
benefits that I
care.
don't have. I don't. There's certain benefits that I don't have. Yes, there
We
are
cannot
certain
have a
benefits that I don't.
therapist. We cannot have a
Therapists.
therapist if we need it. We cannot have, and it's a mental health issue. I mean, therapists are very, very important to get things better. FND can get better, but you need proper treatment for it.
Well,
And that's
and
where it's really hard to get the treatment because we don't have the benefit because we're not able to get jobs, or most of us are not even able to work. And just that, getting the disability income is another thing I could talk about all day, but is really, really hard to get. So it's
yeah. And
just,
Elisabeth, are you in Canada as well? Are you in Ontario?
yes, I am. I
Okay.
am in Alberta, Canada.
Okay, so you're in Alberta.
Um,
Okay, so I live in South Dakota in the United States. So just kind of south of Alberta through North Dakota. I know
yes.
Alberta is a very long, tall state or province,
Yes.
I guess, in
Province,
Canada.
yeah.
I'm becoming much more international now that I'm doing these Zoom interviews. I spoke
Right.
with a gal yesterday from Amsterdam who had spent 10 years in Japan, and I'm like, I feel like I just traveled around the world.
Right. Well,
But
our group is actually worldwide, and we're meeting so many new people and
Yeah.
new culture and everything. Like we have drop-ins every week for the people, and we have two time because all the time zone are kind of
right,
all over
you're
the place, right?
separated in different,
There's
hemispheres
the
and
US time and
We
there's
just had a
the
drop
UK
in.
time.
We
Yeah.
just had a drop in, and we just had a UK, like a drop in just at 1 o'clock today, and we just had all our UK members come to it, and it was great. It was our biggest drop in yet.
how fun. Now, and is that growing out of, so you start FND Warriors after, now, did you found this association then loosely? You say it's gonna be a nonprofit,
Yeah.
so still very early on in this, but
Yes.
after you lose your job in this kind of meantime is when you are like, there's no support for me. I don't have my therapy. I don't have these things that I
Yeah.
need. So you
And then
start to
there's
form this community to
oh,
kind of serve just not for you, but for everyone in your FND community.
Yes, because there wasn't a support group in the format that I was looking for. There wasn't, that tangible 24/7, you know,
Help
like help
and
that I could
support.
talk to someone that had FND, like I could talk to Elisabeth, like that old MSN Messenger day where I could just talk to Yahoo Messenger, where I could just get on and talk to someone and just talk to someone who had FND just like me.
Right. And it's not just to talk to anyone, it's to talk to someone that you can relate to and that can
Yeah,
relate to you and that can hold your hand, even if it's virtually, and be like, you're going to get through it.
Yeah,
exactly.
and
Like,
we get it. We get it, right? It's such a it's so empowering to know that you're not alone and that you can go through this because other people are doing it every day. And it's in the community that we build up that confidence in our daily routine, right? And it's also the fact that we want to bond with the community. Like we have different channels like on our Discord, like pet channels, food channels, like share about what you're doing, what you like to do. We have game nights. We want to bond with the people. We want to make sure that they have someone to talk to because most of the time they don't. Like their family or their friends don't get it and they
right.
even dismiss them and they
It's
don't
just
want to
so
spend time with
isolating,
them.
right? The disease itself is so isolating because it's just like slow. It seems like it's slowly taking you away from who you were. So you're being isolated from this self
There
that
there is
you knew.
definitely, yeah, there is definitely a new normal that we have.
Is
There's
it
the
a
before.
degenerative disease that it's just going to get worse as you go,
it's
or there is some
it's
treatments and
we call it dynamic. So every day is different. We can get new symptoms anytime. They can come and go within minutes, or they can last for days. There's no treatment, no cure. It's really unknown in the medical community. So there's no research or anything like that. There are a couple of hospital around the world that are trying to get more research, but it's really early in all of this.
now
So
is it just something, I'm sorry, Ashley, I know you've been waiting to chime in
Okay.
too.
No, 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 no. It's okay. Elisabeth is good at this stuff because she's been dealing with the disease longer than I have, and she's been in the community a lot longer than I have, and that's why I like her to be a part of this, and that's why she's now a co-founder of FND Warriors
That's
because
awesome. How big is the group now?
it's
we're just
about,
under 1,000 people.
Wow.
yeah, in a few months. We start in October.
Wow.
Hmm.
Um,
Wow. And
so we're like,
worldwide. And
there is
just,
really a need of
yeah.
people
Well, and
that needs to find something.
I'm just thinking about 1,000 people out there that thought they were all alone, right? And then for
Yeah,
those 1,000 people to find each other, because it's not like there's billions of people that have this disease. There might not be a million people worldwide that have this disease. You
Exactly.
start talking about, per capita, right? Or per
yeah,
square mile, or, like you're not spread out. You're not going to walk down your street and see people that have this disease.
no. Well,
Most of the
most
people on
of
the street
us.
have no idea what it is, just like me.
So finding someone with FND is practically like in your community is almost like it's really
Non-existent.
rare,
Yeah, your odds
that
are probably better of
non-existent,
hitting the lottery.
and people who actually and doctors and healthcare provider who knows about this are
Just as
also
bad.
really rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a really big, when you get the diagnosis, it's a really big, and how when you get the diagnosis, they give you a website. That's it. Good day. And you have no resources, not like you don't know anything about it, and you want to find answers. And I've been diagnosed for 3 years now, and during that 3 years I was able to do some research and everything, but
Mhm.
I was really alone, really struggling to find some answers, some way to get
To
through
find
this. And
community.
And all the communities are good, but they weren't what I was looking for. But I knew I couldn't start this alone, so that's why Ashley and I started it together.
Right. I have a good friend of mine. Her name is Brian, and she's just a beautiful soul, but she was born with cerebral palsy, right?
Mhm.
And now, while some of the challenges with CP are going to be similar to some, like, Ashley, you're having to use a walker and some of these things, or there's a speech impediment, or there's something there. The diseases are different, right? And you're going to face different challenges. So, while it's nice to have, maybe some other groups that combine a lot of these things together, it's really nice to just fall in with your own crew that know exactly what you're going through. And I'm just blown away that you've built this community around you. I mean, obviously it was needed. It didn't grow out of this that quickly for nothing. It was needed in the community. I'm
Well,
so glad that it's flourishing like that. That's
anything
incredible.
anything FND related is needed. There are lots of I know it's not a really common disease, but there are lots of people in the world that are affected by it.
And we don't know
So
anything about it.
No,
It seems like
exactly.
you've been studying it for 3 years and you haven't really even been able to describe exactly what it is. I mean, the list of symptoms is probably
It's
a mile long,
Oh,
and they're
exactly.
not.
so I just want to make sure that the public realize that FND is bad communication between the brain and the body.
Right,
So
neurological.
the signals are not being sent the right way.
Communication.
Uh,
Yeah.
Communication, yeah. And so it can affect any part of the body, the vision, the all the senses. There are seizures that are non-epileptic. There are fainting. I actually, you probably have a list in front of you or something, but there are so many things that
It
can
could be
happen.
anything, though. I guess that was my point, is
And
that, like, because they don't know anything about it, they're just
exactly,
like, well, sure. I mean, you stubbed your toe and it's throbbing a little
but
bit.
actually, the moment they know that it's
You have
FND, like the
FND.
healthcare providers, they're like, "Oh, I cannot help you. I don't know anything about that." So you're just going from one specialist to another, and nobody wants to take care of it. We're in between the neurology and the psychiatry, but not really fitting into any of those. So we don't have a system. We don't have anything to help us. So it's about the small hospitals that are doing small research that can help us, but there's so much they can do.
Well, and so that's what's needed. Awareness, number one, which I
Yes.
am going to be an advocate for FND awareness from now on. I will be a warrior with you and
FND
right by your
Warriors.
side. Obviously, we need awareness brings funding, right? As we bring awareness, then hopefully some more funding will get into the research, which is what's really
Yes.
needed. But what you ladies are doing and what you have done is probably the most important part, is that it needed
Oh
a
yeah.
community of support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You people that are out here suffering need someone to lean on right now until it gets figured out, and until those things, because those are long solutions. It does None of that's going to get done overnight, and
No.
many of you inside of your group are going to be test subjects for the disease because the pool is so small to pull from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And we always say that if something comes up in the medical field, it's going to take 10 years for the community, the healthcare community to know about it. So now they don't know anything. So it's going to take a
It's
lot of
Yeah,
time.
we're looking at 2035 before there's even an inch moved, right, on the
E-
actual, like, having therapeutics or what something.
Exactly.
It's gonna be the rest of
And
my lifetime before we have any therapeutics on FND.
yeah, and being recognized by different organization. I know that disability income is really hard to get. Just being We need to be advocate for ourselves in all the situations because people don't get it. Government don't get it. There have been petitions for that. Uh, I know there's one in Canada that is going through right now, just to recognize that this is a disease, that there is something to talk about. We don't have anything. We need to have proper care. Even if there's no cure, we need to be able to not be dismissed all the time or being from one specialist to another. We need to raise awareness to make sure that people get it.
And that's why we needed a website, and that's why we needed to be FND Warriors, and
Yes.
that's why we just needed a community.
Well,
And that's why we have podcasts as well. It's for our
exactly.
newly diagnosed, because it took me 3 years to get that information. And I do have like, and I learn about it every day. New symptoms. Just earlier, I learned about the new symptoms. There are so many things that can happen, and most of the time you're gonna try to describe it to someone that doesn't have it, and they don't they don't get it. So when you're going in a place like our group, we're just like, okay, well, this is the podcast that can happen. That can, like, this is normal in some way. Like, it's not, you're not alone. People have experienced this. So what we do for this, what you can do, like, and we have a different episode. The last one was for memory loss because it's a big one in our community. But yeah, we're just trying to get the information to the people, but also some hope of recovery. Recovery is possible, but it takes a lot of time, and
A lot of
it's really hard to do alone.
Well, and exactly, especially if you're not getting the disability help, like you're trying to work when you have
Exactly.
this debilitating disease,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
and
I
that's what
haven't
just
I
blows me
haven't
away.
I haven't been working, and actually, that was due to a car accident that I got FND. Actually, that was an accident, and then I got a surgery for the accident, and I woke up from the surgery, and I didn't feel my skin on my entire body, and I was like, that's weird, and I haven't felt it since then. I don't feel my skin. That is a really weird one. And I a week later I was hospitalized because I was having burning sensation in my legs, and like I was feeling like my legs were on fire. And I just saw a neurologist, and he was like, "Well, if you don't feel anything in your skin, that is not neurological. Like this is not a problem with your nerve system. This is a problem with your brain." And that's how he got me diagnosed with FND. And there's nothing he could do. He's like, well, have fun, you know? And I
yeah.
I had to
And
just
people wonder why nobody has
go
any
from
faith in
there.
the medical system anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's long gone. Long gone for me.
I would assume so. Well, my heart really goes out to you both and your unique stories. I mean, but I love that you're warriors. I love your fighter
Oh, yes.
spirit that you said, well, screw you. If you're not going to help me, we're going to help ourselves and we're going to go help everybody else out there that's like us, that you're kicking to the curb with no answers.
Exactly.
It's
We need
about empowering the community, about giving them the the positivity they need to get through this, because a lot of people feel hopeless about all of this. This diagnosis is really, really bad. You never know if you're gonna get better. You never know. You don't even know what's happening to you right now. So what are you doing? What's the next
exactly.
step? You have no next step. So just giving that positivity, and like go 1 minute at a time if you need to, but go through it, you
Right.
know?
And on top of that, you have a neurological disorder that's screwing up your synapses in your brain, So yeah, of course there's a component of it that is not just psychological, but the heart of it, right? The
Yeah.
pain that it's
Yeah.
causing every day. And I'm sure that the
You
group,
have to
dulls that a little bit, but I'm sure you're still waking up and stress every single day. I just can't even imagine.
you have to mourn the
Yes.
life that you were going to
Yes.
live every single day. You have to mourn the life that you were going to live
Well,
because you're not going to live that life every day.
you
Um, there
you need
is a
to mourn
process.
so many things. You need to
Yes,
mourn so many things. You're gonna lose so many things. Yeah, I lost my driver license. I was a school bus driver. I lost my driver license because I'm fainting. And I get it. I don't want to drive with this, but I have a new life now. I have a new normal, like I said earlier. It's just different now. I'm not the person I was, and but I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't have that condition either, you know? I
Well,
feel empowered. I feel
exactly what you're saying, Elisabeth, is that because it's hard for you, I'm sure, at this point to like wish that you didn't have it because this is your calling in life, right? Like if you weren't doing this for your community, who was going to do it?
nobody.
And
I've waited 3 years. Nobody was doing it. And I was waiting for something to happen. And when Ashley started it, I was like, "Yep, I'm okay with
you were
this.
ready.
I
Yeah.
want I want to be part of this,
And
because I know it can change a lot of life, even if it's one person on one day or just getting some help anytime. That
and
is
it's
something we
and
did
now it's
good.
over 1,000 and growing, and I hope that your own podcast and being on this podcast and others helps us to just continue to raise awareness, and I'm going to do everything that I can to be a warrior with you. I want to get plugged into your network. I'll be joining your email list so I can stay updated and with
Nice.
all of it. And we would love to, in whatever way we can here at the Scene Projects, to assist the FND Warriors. And before I let you get out of here, we're going to have you back. I want to have you in to tell your story to my co host, Sarah. We
Yes.
have the Get Better Together project.
yeah,
And
that'd be great.
you would both just be so lovely to have on there because we want to inspire people. And we want people to not feel like they're alone. I don't want anyone to ever feel like that, like
Exactly.
you both have felt in your
I
lives.
Yeah, yeah, we had to mourn. We know what to do. We know what people are going through. We want to help them because we were there.
Elisabeth, can you go ahead and tell everybody how they can find everything?
Yes. Well, Ashley, do you want to do it?
You go ahead and do it this time.
Okay, sounds good. So you can join us on our Facebook group, which is Functional Neurological Disorder support group. We have a podcast on YouTube, which is FND Warriors, Unraveling FND. We have website, which is fndwarriors.org, where you can learn more about the cause, about everything, donate, and we have some merch as well to get help fund our nonprofit and start it off the ground. And is that it? We have an Instagram and X account that we have with FND Warriors as well.
And our Discord.
And our Discord group, that is the most important one. But yeah, which you can join anytime.
It's on
Usually
our
there's all
YouTube. It's on our
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah, you can go through our YouTube or our Facebook group, either of them, and you can just logging into the server, and anybody is welcome.
Well, awesome. Ashley, do you want to chime in with anything before I let you out of here?
Starting this was probably one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. Going through this has probably been one of the hardest things that I've ever had to go through to getting to this, but it's been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done. And
Me
it's
too.
meeting everyone, meeting Elisabeth, meeting everyone. Dealing with this illness is on the daily is so hard and so difficult, but just meeting everyone has been so rewarding and educating and bringing awareness and just just educating everyone is bringing my nursing back into it, and it just warms my heart to do it. And
Oh, and you were a nurse.
I wasn't so I went to nursing school and I graduated a nursing school, but I never finished my nursing license just because I was dealing with FND symptoms at the time. So I never actually practiced as a nurse. So I kind of
But that was
She
kind
has
of
the
taken
background.
Right. Well, but even the nursing was kind of taken from you because of before you were ever diagnosed with the disease, the symptoms were already affecting your life. So like you said, you've been living with this a lot longer. I am just so blessed to meet you both. I'm so proud of you for doing what you're doing, for living what you've lived through to this point. I know it's not easy every day. I am here to help in any way. I know our whole team is behind me in that. And this won't be the last time that we'll be talking. And I hope that we can help you in whatever fundraising efforts we can do and to continue to raise awareness for functional neurological disorder.
We'll see you soon then.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scene Projects Podcast Network. We appreciate you listening. You can find more at thesceneprojects.com. Join our community. Got an ocean full of love that's made for two. We sail upon the ocean breeze and sunshine feels